Welcome to Catalan News. The 10 Catalan officials and civil leaders currently in jail are due to testify in court tomorrow morning. Spain's Supreme Court in Madrid has summoned them, and it might decide to release them just in time for the electoral campaign. Meanwhile, the Catalan Socialist leader proposed today that the country collects all its citizens' taxes, something that the Spanish president rejected immediately afterwards. Here at Catalan News, we'll get you the latest of the run-up to the December 21st vote, and we'll also travel to Lisbon, where a very well-known Catalan fashion label has opened a megastore. Let's begin. We're just days away from the Catalan election campaign's kickoff, and it's still uncertain whether all candidates running will be able to campaign freely. In a matter of hours, the 8 Catalan ministers and 2 pro-independence leaders in prison will face court again. The judge who has taken over the case revisit their precautionary measures.
The 10 Catalan leaders behind bars will leave their cells tomorrow morning, at least for a while. They've got a hearing with the Spanish Supreme Court judge. He's taking over their cases and will revisit their preemptive imprisonment, which was ordered by another judge in the Spanish National Court. In the meantime, some MEPs have complained about not being able to visit them in the 2 separate prisons where they're being held in the Madrid region.
We didn't find any cooperation from the government of Madrid. They are asking for more and more details. They are opposing more and more difficulties to make it possible, this delegation to visit the political prisoners.
Some imprisoned officials are running in the December 21st election with 2 parties. While their possible release might have an impact on the campaign, the political debate before the vote continues. Today, the Catalan Socialist leader proposed a new tax office system for Spain, a federal one. Currently, Madrid collects almost all taxes paid in Catalonia. If the proposal came into force, the Catalan tax office would collect and manage all taxes directly.
I el que demanem és que hi hagi un finançament suficient, just i solidari i que Catalunya hi surti guanyant.
But this is far from being a reality. The Spanish president, Mariano Rajoy, flatly rejected the proposal only a few hours after the socialists put it on the table. Rajoy is still opposing granting more autonomy to Catalonia. Indeed, his government has enforced direct rule on the country in the past month. For the first time in decades, Madrid will be in charge of counting Catalan election results. That's why the pro-independence Esquerra party has announced the recruitment of 14,000 agents to make sure that there is no electoral fraud. After Spain's harsh actions in the past months, the level of mistrust has now reached unprecedented levels.
While 10 pro-independence leaders are still in jail, it's already been a month since President Puigdemont and 4 more deposed ministers moved to Belgium. Today, the Exile government marked its first month in Belgium with a special event in Brussels, which included poetry and a remembering of former exile Catalan politicians. Carles Puigdemont and the 4 Catalan government members with him are waiting for a Belgian court to decide on their extradition. They have been summoned to appear in court for this reason next Monday at 9 a.m. While the deposed Catalan government is facing the courts, Madrid's suspension of Catalonia's self-rule is still in force. And one of the concerns about the effects of this harsh measure is the possible halt to the historical memory policies taken up by Puigdemont's cabinet over the past 2 years.
Roger Heredia lost his great-grandfather to the Battle of the Ebro, the deadliest of the Spanish Civil War. 80 years later, his whereabouts remain unknown. His case is not unique. According to the United Nations, more than 114,000 people disappeared during the war and Francisco Franco's 40-year-long dictatorship. In order to find his great-grandfather and to help others do the same, Heredia created a DNA bank to collect samples that would later be used to identify corpses. The Catalan government took over the project in 2016 and fostered the exhumation of mass graves throughout the territory. So far, the remains of more than 100 people have been recovered, but the continuity of the project is now uncertain. After the October Declaration of Independence, the Spanish government triggered Article 155 to impose direct rule on Catalonia. The pro-independence government was dismissed, and the administration has been under Madrid's control since then. In recent days, sources within the administration said that policies to reckon with historical memory might be in danger.
Només per imaginar-nos que algú pot estar pensant aplicar el 155 a les polítiques de memòria, que és l'element més bàsic dels éssers humans, d'intentar recuperar els seus familiars passats 80 anys, ja és un atac a la democràcia.
In 2007, the Spanish parliament passed a law recognizing the victims of the Civil War and Franco's dictatorship. For the past 4 years, though, the Spanish government has allocated no funds to historical memory policies. The UN said that Spain's inaction was alarming and especially worrying, and highlighted the importance of initiatives at the regional level, like in Catalonia. Heredia is a candidate for pro-independence ERC in the December 21st election. He harshly criticizes unionist parties backing Madrid's takeover, and further wants them to clarify whether they support historical memory policies or not.
Let's move on now to economy. Tourism dropped by around 5% in October compared to the same time last year. While 1.5 million internationals visited Catalonia in October 2016, the figure went down to around 1.4 million last month, coinciding with the peak of political tensions in the country, the Spanish police violence on the referendum day, and several massive demonstrations that took place in October. Yet in the first 10 months of 2017, the number of tourists coming to the country was up by more than 6% compared to 2016. Tourists continue to enjoy what Catalonia has to offer them. Meanwhile, Mango, a very well-known Catalan fashion company, is also staying in the country regardless of the political situation. This is what Mango managers confirmed in what was a very special day for them with the inauguration of a megastore in the Portuguese capital, Lisbon. The firm invested 2.6 million euros in the project. With this one, Mango now has 205 megastores around the world, but this figure will go up very soon. Lucerne in Switzerland, Bogota in Colombia, and Lule, also in Portugal, are the new cities set to have a Mango megastore coming to them soon.
Que és una botiga que engloba les tres línies, tant home com dona com nen, dins d'un marc que és un edifici històric preciós, amb un volum espectacular, i on podem expressar una experiència de compra pel client que creiem que és molt rellevant.
Moving on to the environment. Dealing with air contamination is one of the biggest challenges faced by the global community, especially as the world's urban population continues to grow. In Barcelona tomorrow, new measures will be put into effect with the aim of reducing traffic emissions by 18% on days when contamination levels are unhealthily high. Drivers of old cars will need to be especially careful as they might be affected by the new regulations.
In recent years, pollution in Barcelona has reached dangerous levels on more than one occasion, but now an initiative due to be implemented tomorrow aims to change all that. In a bid to cut down on emissions, traffic restrictions will be put in place in the whole metropolitan area on days when air quality is unhealthily low. Vehicles that produce high amounts of toxic contaminants, specifically those manufactured in 1992 or before, will be restricted from the roads. The idea is to get people to use more environmentally friendly forms of transport. Work has already begun marking out the low-emission zone. According to Barcelona City Council, millions of motor vehicle journeys take place in the city every day. Over 60% of nitrogen dioxide pollution, the most dangerous contaminant in the city's atmosphere, is caused by this traffic. Therefore, the most effective way to improve air quality is by cutting down on the amount of fossil fuel transport circulating in the Catalan capital. Although they will be implemented gradually to begin with, only on certain days of high pollution, these new measures will become permanent in 2 years.
That's all for our show today, but before we go, let us introduce you to one of Catalonia's most peculiar Christmas characters, the Caganer. This eccentric nativity scene statuette is pictured answering the call of nature, and over the years it's been made into the likeness of everyone, from celebrities to fictional characters. And for this holiday season, it looks like the most sold figurine in Catalonia and Spain is that of Carles Puigdemont. One of the main Caganer companies say that Puigdemont's Caganer has even been sold in the US and other countries. We leave you with some images of what it looks like. We hope you enjoy and see you tomorrow.